Thank you, Adilla and IRF for inviting me. I was in Singapore over the weekend and I drove back this morning just to attend this. I arrived right on time. I was very impressed that I even cheated Waze. Waze claimed that I will be here 3:30. So I think you all followed the same Waze. And then, anyway, I think I'll leave the other panelists to go more into the idea of hate crimes and all that, which I can see in Syerleena's note, hate crime, very big words there. So I will talk more about the cheating, yeah. I will talk more about the second part of the title, where is the love? I am very amused by this, the phrasing of this title, where is the love? It reminds me of a young teenager. His heart has been broken for the first time, and then he thinks, where is love? There's no true love in this world. All men are bastards, all women are cheaters, right? You know, that kind of thing. Where is love? There's no love. Okay, or it reminds me of this young gay man going on to Grindr, looking for love, and then he just keeps getting sexual proposals, and he goes, where is the love? Okay, so it's a nice sentiment to be thinking, where is love? But actually, to tell you the truth, I don't need love from the state. I don't look to the state for love. It's gross. Okay? I imagine if this government is like a lover, it's the kind of government who will believe in marital rape. Yeah? It's the kind of government who may send you dick pics unsolicited. Okay? It's the kind of government who will, prevent you from seeing all your friends. Okay? So I really don't need love from this government. I need justice. I need equality, and I need compassion and spaces to practice justice, equality, and compassion to others. That is what I expect from the state, not love. Yeah, love I can find myself. Okay? And when I have all those other things, my basic rights, then I can practice love. Then I can go and get my heart broken and ask stupid questions like, where is the love? Okay? That is my own journey. We will go, and in our lifetime, I know we will go through that question several times, right? Where is the love? Every heartbreak will result in that. So what I think is very interesting is to not ask where is the love, but actually what kind of love are we talking about when we ask this question, where is the love? What is love is too broad a topic for us to go into here, okay? But since I'm a gay man, I'm an expert. So, and then all you straight people, you have to take notes. There is a lot of contradictions in love, right? And it's okay, really, right? So, like, let's say we're in a relationship, okay. And I say, I love you, you will say?
I guess I love you too.
Aww. And by that exchange of those two phrases, right? I love you too, there is an assumption in that act that we have arrived at a kind of contract, an agreement that there is an exchange of feelings, right? And more interestingly, we assume that this love that we both speak of is the same kind of love. Okay? But actually, in my head, I may be thinking, when I say I love you, I mean you are mine, you are not going to see your friends, you have no other life, you're deleting all your friends' number from all the male friends or female friends, whatever, and I expect you to be doing everything that I want you to make me happy. Okay? But maybe in your mind when you say I love you, you mean I give you freedom to be who you are. Find yourself. Go meet your friends and other people. But we don't hear that. Because when I say I love you to her, and she says back, I love you too, the love that I hear from her in my head is the same love that is in my head. Right? So I think she's agreeing with me on the love that I have now imposed on her. And when she hears I love you from me, she's not hearing my love, she's hearing her love, her definition of love. So what we are doing is when we say love, we actually we have many definitions. But when we say it, what is very interesting about the saying of I love you is that it carries an expectation of obligation. Yeah? I expect you to accept this love and then act accordingly. And what I find very fascinating is that we seldom talk about this definition in our relationships between couples. We don't actually explain, okay, footnote 1, citation 2, love according to what terms, yeah, and where and when. The discussion usually comes when we are having a fight, right? Then we learn the boundaries of where this love is. Kan? So what I'm trying to say is there are many kinds of loves, and each of them operate from ideologies that we have. A certain kind of ideology defines the kind of love we're seeking and the kind of love we want. When we go to the state for love, right? Recently, we have a lot of sentiment being built up by our Olympics team, right? And it's rousing a lot of nationalism in us, okay? There's a lot of, suddenly there's a lot of love for the country again. And it's okay, I mean, it's very cute. But it makes me think, what is this love that we talk about when we deal with the country? What kind of love are we expecting from the country? I think that we are expecting a paternalistic kind of love. Yeah? We want the state to protect us, to guide us, and also to correct us, but mostly not us, but our other brothers and sisters who are assholes. Okay? We want to play favoritism with the state. We want more love. Because where the state is concerned, love feels like a zero-sum game. Yeah? If I can have more love, you will have less. If you have more, I'm going to grab some back. Right? And so I imagine when we go to the state and expect love from the state, we are actually prescribing a model of love that is unrealistic, but also surrendering of everything else for the obligations of being a citizen or being a family. Okay? It's like saying I love you to the state and the state says I love you too, but actually their love has a lot more caveat and footnotes, yeah, and terms of references, most of which means you have to give up a lot. You can find love, you can have love, okay, but in the small room that you have padded with IKEA products, okay, and nowhere else. Don't speak of love in public spaces unless it is for the sporting team, yeah. Those are the spaces where you're allowed to talk about love. So I think what is love when we talk about a country, where is love, are contradictory. When we go out expecting this kind of sentiment from the state, we are unwittingly surrendering our right to self-love and community. Because this love depends on validation of others. This love depends on recognition of ourselves and our identities. A lot of us are brought up and taught from our parents to our teachers to our bosses that our value and validation comes from others. Yeah, our parents love us if we act a certain way, and then we go to school. Our teachers give us marks to tell us how good we are, and then when we go to work, our bosses pay us a certain level depending on our value. So our value always comes from others. But when we fall in love, we suddenly think that this is the space for us to demand complete validation from this other person. Right? And anything this person do or say that is contrary to our ideology of definition of love will challenge our sense of validation. Right? So if you go and talk to your other guy friends, it makes me feel that you are not validating me. So it's very interesting how we have used relationship this way, because outside of the spaces of relationship and home, nothing else gives us complete validation. And so, because we don't get complete validation from the government, from our bosses, from our parents, from our teachers, we demand its full validation from our partner. And this creates all that kind of tension. Because we are unable to validate ourselves. We have no capacity or language or formula for self-evaluation. Yeah? And this is what it comes down to for me. I think when it comes to LGBT or comes to relationships, just talk about relationships in general. I'm realizing this is starting to sound like a life coach for loving, right? So, but I have to frame this that way. So, I think before we can, and this is a very corny thing that unfortunately I subscribe to. Before you can actually love, you have to love yourself. And this sounds a privilege talking to a degree as well, yeah? But the reason we can't love is also because we have been denied and prevented from loving ourselves, because we are taught to seek that love from others. We go to the state, we go to others for love. Yeah? And so, when I think of this, I think actually what I expect from the state is to be able to find and define for myself what is love to me. Because there are many kinds of relationships, many ways of forming bonds. But the state needs to stabilize all these wild, anarchic emotions into something that it recognizes that it can then use to reproduce its ideology. And the family is the perfect space to do that. Yeah? The heterosexual family unit is the perfect space to reproduce the state's ideology. So it needs to reinforce one kind of love. Parental, paternalistic love. You listen and you do, and then you get rewarded. Yeah? If you don't, you get punished, you get alienated, you get made fun of, you get made to feel, but not so completely isolated that you can't function. So we give you the market space to practice your citizenship. Yeah? Because this is what we tell the non-Bumiputras anyway, right? Yeah? We cannot love you completely, but you have the market, right? So you should be very happy. But of course the market space reinforces the state's capitalism, and the state's capitalism reinforces its nationalism. So it's very interesting how, for me anyway, the motion of sentiments and nationalism and patriotism is constantly used to make us feel either belonging, that we belong, or if we don't belong, then we accept the bargain, the ethnic bargain or the LGBT bargain, which is keep quiet and be happy to be tolerated. But as I was saying, there are many ways of forming relationships, many bonds. I give you an example. I was reading this case study. In UK, there were two women who were best friends. They were both recently divorced. So they started and then they have children. They both have their one child each. They tried to fall in love again with other men, find maybe suitable father figures for their children and also partners for themselves. One man after another, nothing worked out. They just couldn't find another person to come and help them be a parent. And then they look at each other, and then they realize, we are best friends, why can't we be co-parents of our children? Right? Why don't we just move in together, buy a house, and call each other co-parents? This worked out very well for them. However, when they have to register their children to kindergarten and they are asked about their relationship, there's no space to understand that relationship. So the school say, so you're a lesbian couple. No, we're not. So you are friends who are parents? There's no word for it. There's no blank spot on the form for this, right? And this is just one way of forming a relationship, right? And a bond and a family. And there are many other ways, and sometimes very secret ways, sometimes very complicated ways. But the thing that strikes me the most is what we sometimes like, queer theorists like to accuse everything of being heteronormative. Heteronormative is a term we use to describe a normative culture where heterosexuality is promoted and anything else is punished or marginalized. Yeah? So the heterosexual family unit is rewarded and given benefits and all that, and if you fall out of that, including being single also, yeah, it's not good for you. Yeah? So, yeah, I see this guy patting his friend on the back. I'm sorry, your friend just outed you as single. I'm sorry. Be careful who you out as single here. So, I think that, what was I saying? That distracted me. What was I saying?
The heteronormative.
Yeah, no. Why I think the normative is successful and also appealing is because it feels like less work. People sometimes don't want to have to fight so hard to be loved. Right? And sometimes, if you can't love the person you truly love, maybe you can have your parents' love and your society's love. So you make that bargain. Okay, I love men, but I will marry women because I can get that love anyway. I will sacrifice that. But of course, that desire never gets quiet. But we don't want to try so hard where love is concerned, because we think of this as a space where we heal, right? From the pressures. That was 10 minutes, 1 minute ago, and then now it's 1 minute. Okay, never mind. I'm finishing up. So, I think saying that though makes it understandable, but not necessarily prescribable. We seek the normative for those pleasures, and I'm thinking perhaps it's okay to start teaching people that love is anarchic. It is disruptive. It makes you vulnerable. And in our disrupted lives and our vulnerability, sometimes it makes us want to seize back control by manipulating each other, by controlling, by demanding allegiance and loyalty and love and recognizing it only in certain form. But maybe it is okay to be changed by love, to be transformed. But the state and the corporations don't want that, because it means if you change, you may vote somebody else. If you change, you may buy a different product. So a lot of forces are out there trying to stabilize us into specific forms, into specific loves. But there are many kinds of love, and it's actually so disorienting. I think it should be called sexual disorientation. Yeah? Because sexual orientation doesn't make sense to me. You know, it's actually very disorienting. And it's okay, because while we are being disoriented, what happens is we still have a community where together we learn. Each of us, individual, yes, but seeking our, different forms of bonding and relationships from each other. And I think that empowers me more. That is what I'm seeking. I do not need love from the state. I need the space to find the love I need. And I'll close by saying this. Really, there is also no stable form of love. Love is still that journey that we take, right? That where we discover ourselves, where we learn about who we are and who each other are, who the person you love is. And that changes us, and we keep transforming and we keep growing. So that journey is also not a stable space. And I like for us to be able to think of that before we think about why there are so many laws against it, and how we can actually together as a community demand for the spaces and for the spaces to make these journeys that we call love on our own terms. Thank you.